Simon's fingers were shaking, his eyes were half closed, his signature was sliding across the paper, very slowly, like a man signing his whole life away. Inside the cold hotel meeting room, two men in black suits held his hands tight. Their faces were sharp, proud, and wicked. They looked at him like he was a toy they had finally broken. "Just sign, Mr. Simon," one whispered with a smile that did not reach his eyes. "Only one more line." "Yes, like that." Simon's head dropped forward. His voice was weak, his vision blurry. He could not even feel his own hand. Something was wrong, very wrong. On the table, the contract title glowed in bold letters. Sale agreement, $50, not $50,000, not $50 million, just $50. The same company that offered $50 million only yesterday was now forcing him to sign away his app for the price of lunch. And Simon, the millionaire genius who built SEMO Intercontinental, could not even understand what was happening to him. He tried to speak, but his words came out like broken wind. "Why is the room spinning?" The two men exchanged a quick glance. "He can't fight anymore," one said coldly. "Finish it." They pushed his hand to the last page. Simon's eyes rolled back. He signed. Just like that, a whole business worth millions. Gone for $50. Before he passed out completely, he heard the loudest sound in the room. The men laughing. Cruel, loud, shameless laughter, like they had won something big. And then, a small gasp came from the doorway. A waitress, young, brown-skinned, holding a tray. Her eyes wide, she had seen everything. And on her phone, a red blinking light showed she had been recording. Before anyone noticed, she slipped away quietly, heart racing. Her name was Anita, and she knew one thing: someone was in very big danger. But to understand how things reached this terrible moment, we must go back to the beginning, to the morning everything started, to the man who worked harder than every other man in Lagos. Simon always woke up at 4:30 a.m., not because he wanted to, but because his dreams wouldn't let him rest. He built SEMO Intercontinental from nothing. He started in a small boys' quarters with only one laptop and faith that shook the ground. By 35, he was already a millionaire. By 36, he was one of the most feared tech minds in Nigeria. His app, QuickSend, a fast transaction app, became the talk of the country. Safe, easy, fast. Investors were chasing him everywhere. Then came the company called Mavlon Tech, led by a ruthless CEO, Mr. Godfrey. He was the kind of man who smiled only when he was destroying someone. He invited Simon for a meeting. He praised him. He flattered him. He told him the app was worth more than diamonds. Then he dropped the big offer, $50 million, cash, no delay. Simon felt his heart jump. He didn't want to sell, but the offer felt too good, too tempting. What he didn't know was that Mavlon Tech had other plans, very dark plans. The day of the meeting, the hotel lobby felt cold, too cold. Simon arrived carrying his laptop bag and important documents. He sat at the table waiting for Mr. Godfrey. A waiter served water, then juice, then wine. And Simon, tired from working all night, took one sip. Just one. Minutes later, his eyelids became heavy. His voice became soft. His hands started shaking. He thought he was just tired. He had no idea someone had dropped something inside his drink. Mr. Godfrey smiled like a king enjoying a game. "Mr. Simon," he said softly, "you look tired. Let's finish quickly." The room started spinning. The contract was placed before him. But the price had changed. The men flanking Godfrey stood up, locked the door, and moved behind Simon. Simon tried to rise, but his knees gave way. They held him down. "Sign it," one whispered, and Simon fought with everything in him. But he could not win. He felt himself slipping away, falling, drowning. And then, a soft thud behind them. Anita, the waitress, had dropped her tray by mistake because she saw one of the men squeeze a small bottle into Simon's drink earlier. She hid behind the wall, she recorded everything. And she promised herself she would not let this wickedness succeed. Not without evidence, not without truth. But she kept quiet because the men looked dangerous, very dangerous. She waited until the next morning, when Simon's app was already stolen, when he woke up confused, broken, and lost. She waited to make sure she would not be killed for what she knew. Back to the present, cliffhanger. The two men dragged Simon out of the room after he signed. He was half-conscious, barely breathing, barely alive. His laptop, his documents, his dreams, everything had just been taken from him. And the company, already celebrating. Mr. Godfrey lifted the $50 contract and smiled. "We own him now." But as they left, a small voice behind the door whispered, "Not if I have anything to say about it." Anita pressed save on her phone. She held her breath. Something huge was coming. Something no one was ready for. Simon is drugged. His multi-million-dollar business is stolen for $50. The criminals believe they have won. But Anita, the quiet waitress, holds the one thing that can destroy them. The full video. The sun was bright the next morning, but Simon's office felt dark. Too dark. He sat at his desk inside Simo Intercontinental, staring at his own reflection in the glass wall. His eyes were red, his lips were dry, his head felt heavy, like someone had stuffed cotton inside. He could not remember anything clearly. Just flashes, a cold room, a glass of wine, a contract. People holding him, a loud laugh. Then darkness. His heart was beating fast. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He reached for his laptop and tried to open QuickSend, his app. Password error. Again. Error. Again, error. "Why is it not opening?" he whispered. Then he checked the servers. All access had been changed, all permissions revoked, all ownership moved. He scrolled down slowly until he reached the final line of system logs. New owner, Mavlon Tech Group. Simon froze, his fingers dropped from the keyboard. No, this can't be real," he whispered. He opened his email. The first message nearly stopped his heart. "Congratulations. Transaction completed. Sale price, $50. Simon stood up so fast his chair fell backward. "50 what?" he shouted. His staff outside the glass door jumped in fear. He opened another mail. A contract was attached, with his signature. His own signature. Signed, approved, completed. The same man who once rejected a $20 million offer had now signed away the same company for the price of 2 plates of jollof rice. Simon shook his head harder and harder. No, I didn't do this. I didn't sign this thing. I know I didn't." He tried to breathe, but each breath felt like a piece of broken glass. He pressed his palm against his temple. "I wasn't myself. I wasn't. Then a flash of memory hit him. The drink. The dizziness. Someone touching his hand. The room spinning fast. Simon grabbed the table for support. "Was I drugged?" he whispered. His whole world was falling apart. Just then, his office door opened and his assistant Miriam walked in. Her face was pale. "Sir, you need to see this," she said. She handed him her phone. A breaking news headline was already trending. Simo Intercontinental loses flagship app to Mavlon Tech for $50. Was the CEO drunk? Why would a millionaire make such a foolish mistake? Simon felt his knees weaken. People online were already calling him a big fool, a stupid businessman, a man who did not know what he was doing, a greedy person who lost everything. He covered his face with both hands. "I am finished." Mariam stood quietly. "Sir, What should we do? Simon shook his head. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Before she could speak again, a soft knock came from the doorway. They both turned. A young woman stood there, dark-skinned, wearing a simple brown gown, a black bag hanging on her shoulder. Her face looked tired, almost scared. Excuse me, she said softly. Please, I need to speak to Mr. Simon, alone. Simon frowned. Who are you? She swallowed hard. My name is Anita. Simon blinked. He had never seen her before in his entire life. I'm sorry, he said. I'm not in the mood to see anyone. Please leave. But Anita shook her head. No, sir. You need to see me. It's about what happened yesterday. Those words hit him like thunder. Simon straightened slowly. What? Did you just say? She looked around. Please, can your assistant wait outside? This is important. Mariam hesitated. Simon nodded weakly. Mariam, give us a moment. The assistant stepped out and closed the door behind her. Now only Simon and Anita were inside. Silence filled the room. Simon leaned back slowly. All right, what do you know about yesterday? Anita looked down at her hands, then she removed her phone and turned the screen on. A video clip opened. Simon's heart jumped. The screen showed him in the hotel room, barely conscious, head dropping, two men holding his arms tight, one pushing the contract forward, another lifting his hand and forcing him to sign. Simon gasped loudly. His hands began to tremble. That's the room. That's the place. But Anita whispered, Sir, that is not all. She scrolled back to the beginning of the video. She played another clip. This time, the camera showed the real evil. One of the men was holding a small bottle. He opened it. He poured something into Simon's drink. He stirred it with his finger, then smiled at the other man. Simon covered his mouth. No. They spiked me. They really spiked me? Anita nodded. I saw everything. Sir. Simon felt his chest tightening. He couldn't breathe properly. Why didn't you tell me yesterday? Why didn't you help me right there? Anita looked away. Her voice broke. Sir. They looked dangerous. I am just a waitress. I didn't want to die. Tears filled her eyes. But I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking. What they did to you was wicked and evil. So, I found your company. I came here to show you the truth. Simon stared at her. She was young, poor, probably working 2 or 3 jobs to survive. She had no reason to risk her life for him, yet she came. She saved the only proof he had. She took a step closer. Her voice was firm. Sir, you must take this video to court. They cheated you, they stole from you, and you must fight them. Simon wiped his tears. But the contract is already signed. I don't even remember signing it. Anita nodded. That's why the video is important. You were not in your right mind. They forced you. They drugged you. No judge will see this and let them win. Simon looked into her eyes. Why are you helping me? Anita took a deep breath. Then she said the words that broke him. Because, sir, you should have been more careful. The moral lesson here is simple. Not everyone who smiles at you wants the best for you. People can be wicked. You must never trust blindly, especially in business. Simon felt those words hit him deep inside. She was right. He trusted too much. He relaxed too much. He believed too much. And now he was facing the most painful moment of his life. He closed his eyes and whispered, They think they have destroyed me. Anita shook her head. No, sir. They only started a battle. And then she said the words that changed everything. I think you should see what they posted online this morning. She unlocked her phone once more, opened her browser, and turned the screen toward him. Simon's eyes widened. His whole body went cold. His mouth fell open. On the screen was a headline that shook the entire room. Mavlotech announces plans to sue Simon for public disturbance and harassment. Simon's heart stopped. What? They want to sue me? Anita nodded slowly. They made the first move. Simon grabbed the edge of his desk. What kind of devil is this man? Anita whispered. Sir, you don't know the worst part. Simon looked up quickly. Her hand was shaking. She scrolled down, a video loaded automatically, posted by Mavlon Tech. Simon leaned forward. What he saw, what he heard, what he read, made his whole world spin again. His face lost all color. He whispered, No, no, no. They didn't do this. They didn't, but they did. And what they posted was deadly. Simon stared at the screen like someone who had just watched his own burial. His lips trembled, his heart raced, he could barely breathe. The video Mavlon Tech uploaded was already going viral. Every second, new comments were flooding in. Thousands, millions. Anita swallowed hard. Sir, you need to see it all. Simon didn't want to, but he had no choice. He pressed play. The video began. The screen showed Simon, drunk, staggering around the hotel lobby, shouting at hotel staff, knocking down chairs, falling on the floor, and screaming, I will never sell anything to Mavlon Tech, never! Get out of my sight! People in the background were pretending to calm him down. Security was holding him. A fake manager was saying, Sir, please, you are disturbing our guests. Let us help you outside. Then the screen cut to another shot. Simon sitting on the floor, holding a bottle of alcohol, laughing like a madman. Then another. Simon trying to rip his own shirt, shaking, sweating, shouting nonsense. Then the final blow. A clip where Simon supposedly said, I hate that app. Take it for $50 if you want. The video ended. Simon froze. He felt like someone had poured ice water on his back. He felt small, broken, ruined. He whispered, That isn't me. That's not real. That never happened. Anita nodded immediately. It's fake, sir. Completely fake. Someone edited it. They hired actors. They used deepfake tech. They want to destroy your name so nobody believes your side of the story. Simon's voice cracked. But it looks so real. It looks like I was drunk. Crazy. You saw the real thing. I wasn't even awake enough to speak. Anita held his shaking arm. Sir, they planted this so that when you go public, they will say you're lying. That you sold your app because you got drunk and acted foolish. Simon covered his face. So people will think I'm the problem. Exactly. He felt dizzy again. His whole career, his reputation, his years of hard work, destroyed by one evil man and one night. Anita touched his shoulder gently. Sir, you must not break down. They want to destroy you mentally so you cannot fight. Simon lifted his head slowly. His eyes were red. They want me to give up, to accept defeat, to walk away quietly. Anita nodded. That is exactly what they want. Simon grabbed his desk tightly. I won't. Simon printed out the fake video and pinned the screenshots to his notice board. Anita stood beside him. First, Simon said, I need to release the real video. Your video. Anita shook her head quickly. No, not yet. Simon looked at her. Why? She took a deep breath. Sir, if you post the video now, they will say you paid me to act. They will say it's staged. They will say I'm lying. The fake video has already gone everywhere. People always believe the first version of a story. Simon frowned. Then what do we do? Anita opened her small bag and removed a handwritten paper with notes. I planned it all last night. Simon stared at her. This girl was smarter than he expected. She pointed at the notes. We must find the waiter who brought your drink. We need the hotel staff who can confirm the truth. We need the CCTV footage. And we need the 2 men who held your hand to sign. If we get even one of them, the whole plan collapses. Simon nodded slowly. And what about Godfrey, the CEO? Anita's eyes hardened. That man is dangerous. He will not stop. He might even come after anyone who helps you. Simon swallowed. Like you. Anita nodded quietly. But I will not run. I saw the truth, and I will not hide. Simon looked at her with new respect. This girl, this young waitress, had more courage than most billionaires he knew. Suddenly, Simon's office door burst open. Mariam rushed in, shaking. Sir, we have a problem. Simon turned sharply. What now? Mariam handed him her tablet. Look at this. It was another headline. Another attack. This one was worse. Breaking. Simo Intercontinental to be sued for fraud. Insiders claim CEO stole his own software. Simon blinked. What? How can I steal something I created? Mariam's hands shook. They said you took government money but failed to declare it. They said your app has missing funds. They said, that is all lies. I know, sir. But the media doesn't care. Simon dropped into his chair. He felt the walls closing in. His enemies were fast, too fast. They were burying him alive before he could even speak. Anita stepped forward. Sir, this is why we must move faster than them. Simon looked up at her. How? They have money, power, media, everything? Anita placed her phone on his desk. We have something they don't. Simon frowned. What? She pressed play. The screen showed the part where the man poured the content inside the drink. The camera shook slightly, but the evidence was clear. This time, Anita zoomed in. Simon leaned closer. His eyes widened. He gasped. Wait, pause it. Anita paused. Simon pointed at the man's hand. There. Look at that ring. Anita zoomed further. Simon's face turned white. That is Mavlon Tech's custom board of directors ring. Only directors get it. Anita whispered, so the man who spiked your drink is not just a worker. Simon completed her sentence. He is one of the top directors of Mavlon Tech. Anita nodded. This means the whole company is involved. This wasn't just a random trick. It was a planned attack. Simon stood up slowly. His voice shook with anger. They think they can destroy me and walk away. They think they can steal my app. They think they can ruin my name. His hands closed into fists. But they don't know who I am. Anita watched him carefully. There was fire in his eyes again. And they don't know what I'm about to do next. While they spoke, Anita's phone buzzed. One new message. The number was unknown. She opened it, and her face went pale. Simon noticed. What happened? What did you see? Anita tried to hide her phone, but he pulled it gently from her hand. He read the message. There were only 4 words. Stop helping Simon, now. Anita swallowed. It came from a hidden number. I don't know who it is. Simon looked at the phone again. Something cold crawled up his spine. But the worst part wasn't the message. It was the picture attached to it. A picture taken that same morning. Of Anita. Standing right outside his company gate, holding her phone. Taken by someone who was watching her. Someone close. Someone dangerous. Simon's voice dropped to a whisper. Anita, someone is following you. She nodded slowly, her eyes filled with fear. I know. At that moment, a car honked loudly outside the building. Tires screeched. Someone shouted in panic. Simon rushed to the window with Anita behind him. What they saw made Anita gasp and cover her mouth. Because outside the company gate, a black SUV had just stopped violently, and the person stepping out. Was someone Simon never expected to see again. Not so soon, not today, not like this. The black SUV door opened slowly. Too slowly. Like the person inside wanted the whole world to feel fear before stepping out. Simon's heart thumped hard. Anita held her breath. Mariam whispered, "Sir, is that—" Simon nodded weakly. "Yes, it's him. Mr. Godfrey, CEO of Mavlon Tech. The man who spiked his drink. The man who stole his business. The man who ruined his name in 24 hours. He stepped out of the SUV, looking calm, confident and dangerous, like a king arriving at a kingdom he already conquered. His expensive suit shimmered under the sun. His sunglasses hid his eyes, but his smile was full of evil. He walked straight into the building. 2 bodyguards followed him. Another SUV arrived behind the first one. Another set of men stepped out. Anita whispered, "Why is he here? What does he want?" Simon clenched his fists. "Something tells me we are about to find out." Before Anita could speak, the office door swung open. Mr. Godfrey entered like he owned the place. "Ah, Simon," he said with a warm voice that sounded poisonous. "I heard you were panicking. I just came to check on you." Simon stepped forward. "Get out of my office." Godfrey raised one eyebrow. "Your office? Are you sure this place still belongs to you?" Simon's eyes narrowed. "What is that supposed to mean?" Godfrey smiled like a snake. "Didn't you read the news? Investors are losing faith in you. Your board is confused. There are rumors that the government is launching an investigation. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow this building might belong to me too." Anita took a small step back. This man was dangerous on a whole different level. Simon glared. "You stole my app." Godfrey shrugged. "You sold it." "For $50. Godfrey laughed lightly. "No, Simon, for $50 because you insisted on it. We even helped you by recording how drunk and crazy you were. The world has seen the truth." Simon shouted, "That video is fake." Godfrey replied calmly, "Do you have proof?" Simon opened his mouth, but Anita quickly stepped forward. "We have everything. We have what you did. We have the real video. We have the truth." For the first time, Godfrey looked directly at her. His smile disappeared. "And who are you?" Anita stood straighter. "My name is Anita." Godfrey tilted his head slowly. "Ah, the waitress." Simon's heart skipped. "You knew she saw you?" Godfrey chuckled. "Simon, of course. Do you really think we didn't notice her recording? We saw her shake. We saw her hide behind the wall. We even watched her run away." Anita's eyes widened. Simon grabbed her arm protectively. "You spied on her?" Godfrey shrugged again. "You spiked my drink. What's spying compared to that?" Godfrey laughed softly, a chilling laugh. "Simon, you are shouting too much. Let me teach you how the real world works." He walked closer, too close. "Business is war. War is strategy. Strategy is deception. You slept. I fought. You trusted. I struck first." "That's all." Simon shook with anger. "You stole from me." "I won," Godfrey answered. "And you will lose," Anita fired back. Godfrey turned to her sharply. His face was now cold. "You think that silly little video will save him? That shaky recording from a frightened waitress?" Anita tightened her fists. Godfrey leaned closer to her and whispered, "You should have minded your business." A chill ran down her spine. Simon stepped between them immediately. "Don't you dare threaten her." Godfrey placed his hand on Simon's shoulder, pretending to be friendly. Then he whispered softly, "I already have." Simon pushed him back. "Leave, now." Godfrey smiled again, adjusting his jacket. "Oh, Simon, this is only the beginning. I haven't even started fighting you yet." He walked toward the door. Then he paused and turned slightly. "Oh, before I forget. He snapped his fingers. One of his bodyguards brought out an envelope. He tossed it on Simon's table. "What is that?" Anita asked. Godfrey winked. "Something that will keep you awake tonight." Then he walked out with his men. The moment the door shut, Anita rushed to the table. "Sir, open it." Simon hesitated. His hands shook. He slowly opened the envelope. Inside, there were pictures. Pictures of Anita. Standing at the hotel, serving drinks, walking outside, cleaning a table, entering her small street, unlocking her room door, sleeping on her mattress through her open window. Anita gasped and stumbled backward. They followed me to my house." Simon held the photos tight. "These pictures, they were taken at night." Anita covered her mouth. "Sir, I think I am in trouble." Simon whispered, "You're not just in trouble. You're a target." Anita began shaking. "I'm scared." Simon placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "Anita, don't panic. You are the only witness. That makes you the most important person in this whole case." "But sir, what if they come for me? What if they hurt me? What if they—" Simon interrupted softly. "They won't. I won't allow them." Anita looked up at him. Why? Why are you protecting me? I'm just a waitress. You're a millionaire. Why would you risk anything for me?" Simon took a deep breath. "Because you risked everything for me first." Silence. They stared at each other. Mariam cleared her throat. "Sir." "What now? This man is ready for war." Simon nodded slowly. "Yes." "He is." Mariam asked, "So what is our next move?" Simon clenched his jaw. "We reveal the truth." Anita shook her head immediately. "No, not yet. We need more than just my phone video." Simon frowned. "What else do we need?" Anita swallowed. "We must go back to the hotel." Simon froze. "What?" "That place is dangerous." "I know," she said quietly, "but we need the CCTV footage. The hotel keeps 48-hour recordings before deleting them." Simon stared at her. Anita continued, "If we don't get that footage today, it will be gone forever." Simon rubbed his head. "God, this is risky." Mariam looked scared. "Sir, what if Mavlontek paid the hotel to hide everything?" Anita answered, "That's why we must go now, before they get there." Simon and Anita exchanged a long stare. The decision was heavy. Finally, Simon nodded. "We're going." Anita took her bag. Simon grabbed his car key. They headed out of the office. Mariam followed them to the elevator. Anita whispered, "Sir, do you think he knows we're going to the hotel?" Simon shook his head. "No, I don't think—" But the elevator doors opened, and Simon froze. Because standing right there, already waiting for the elevator, holding a phone to his ear, staring at them, was one of Godfrey's bodyguards, the same man who held Simon's hand during the signing, the same man who poured something in his drink. He smiled slowly, like he had been expecting them. Anita took a step back. Simon's blood ran cold. The guard whispered, "Going somewhere?" The guard smiled like a man who had already won. His shoulders blocked the elevator entrance. His eyes scanned Simon, then Anita. Slowly, like a hunter marking his prey. Anita's breath shook. Simon moved in front of her. "What do you want?" he asked. The guard smiled lazily. "Boss just wants to know where you're going, that's all." Simon clenched his fists. "That's none of your business." The guard chuckled. "Oh, it is my business. Everything about you is our business now." Anita whispered, terrified, "Sir, let's go back inside." But Simon shook his head. "No, if we run now, they win." The guard leaned forward. "Last chance. Tell me where you're going." Simon stared him directly in the eyes. "Move." The bodyguard didn't move. Instead, he smirked and stepped closer. "Make me." The tension in that hallway was so thick, even the air felt heavy. Just then, the elevator behind the guard beeped again. The doors tried to close. The guard turned slightly. Simon acted. He grabbed Anita's hand and pulled her into the emergency staircase behind them. "Run!" The guard shouted, "Hey, come back here!" His heavy steps thundered behind them. Simon and Anita were flying down the stairs, floor after floor, door after door. The guard was fast, too fast, and getting louder. Anita gasped, "Sir, he's catching up." "I know, keep running." They reached the third floor. Simon pushed the door open into the hallway of offices. The guard was right behind them now. Simon turned and slammed the door shut, locking it from the inside. Boom! The guard crashed into the door. "Open this door!" Simon shouted back. "Leave us alone!" Another boom. The hinges shook. "He'll break it," Anita cried. Simon grabbed her shoulders. "We have 2 minutes, maybe less." Anita was breathing fast. "Sir, should we call the police?" Simon shook his head immediately. "No, Godfrey controls too many people. We need evidence first." Anita swallowed. "Then we must get to the car, somehow." Simon nodded. "Yes, follow me." They rushed down the hallway, found a back exit, and burst out into the parking lot. Simon pressed his car key. The car beeped. They jumped in. Simon started the engine. The guard ran out of the building. "There they are! Go, go!" Anita cried. Simon hit the accelerator. Tires screeched. The car shot forward. The guard ran toward them, shouting, but Simon drove past the gate and disappeared into the road. Anita exhaled shakily. We escaped." Simon wiped sweat off his forehead. "For now." The car sped through the busy streets of Lagos. Danfo buses crowded the road. Keiki riders zigzagged dangerously. Street hawkers shouted prices of bottled water and plantain chips. But Simon's mind was not here. He kept replaying the fake video. The threats, the guard chasing them, the pictures of Anita sleeping. Everything. He muttered, "They think they've trapped us. They think we will give up. They think fear will make us quiet." Anita stared at him. "But sir, you don't look quiet at all." Simon glanced at her and breathed out a small laugh. "You shouldn't be smiling. You're in danger." Anita looked out the window. "I am scared, but I'm also angry." "Angry?" She nodded. "Some people believe rich people like you don't deserve help. But wrong is wrong. Evil is evil. And if the world allows wicked people to win, then we are finished." Simon looked at her again. For the first time since yesterday, he felt hope. "You're a brave girl, Anita." She shook her head. "No, sir. I'm just doing what is right." The building looked innocent in the morning light. People walked in and out. Employees smiled at customers. Nothing looked suspicious. But Simon knew the truth. This place held the proof that could save his career and destroy Godfrey. Simon parked far from the entrance. "We must enter quietly," he said. Anita nodded. They walked into the lobby. The receptionist looked up. "Good morning, welcome." Then her smile froze. Her eyes widened. "Mr. Simon." Simon forced a smile. "Good morning. I need to see the front desk manager." "Ah, sir, I don't think—" "Call him. Now." The receptionist swallowed and picked up the phone. Moments later, a man in a black suit approached them. He was tall, dark-skinned, with glasses and a worried face. "Mr. Simon, I didn't expect to see you so soon." Simon stepped forward. "I need the CCTV footage from yesterday." The manager blinked. "Footage?" "Yes, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., of the bar area and conference room." The manager looked extremely uncomfortable. Sir, that might be difficult." Anita frowned. "Why difficult?" The manager rubbed his face nervously. "You see, someone already requested that footage." Simon's heart stopped. "Who?" The manager hesitated. Anita stepped forward. Tell us. The manager whispered, Mavlon Tech. They came early this morning. Simon clenched his jaw. What did they take? All recordings of yesterday, from the entire hotel. Anita gasped. You gave it to them? The manager tried to explain. They came with police. They said it was an investigation. They had documents. They threatened to shut the hotel down. Simon closed his eyes. Of course Godfrey moved first. Of course he did. The manager added, shaking, We have a backup system. But the drive was also taken. Simon opened his eyes slowly. Is there any copy left? The manager hesitated. Anita stepped closer. Please, this is important. Very important. The man swallowed. Well, there is one more source, but it is risky. Simon's eyes widened. What source? The camera in the service corridor, used by waiters and cleaners. It is old, almost forgotten, but sometimes it still records. Simon grabbed his arm. Where is it? The manager looked around nervously. If someone sees me showing you. No one will see you, Simon said firmly. The manager finally nodded. Follow me. He led them through a narrow corridor behind the restaurant. The walls were cracked. The lights flickered. Pipes ran across the ceiling. They reached a small room with dusty shelves and old cleaning supplies. The manager opened a metal box. Inside was an ancient CCTV console. He turned it on. A faint humming sound filled the room. He inserted a memory card. Simon and Anita held their breath. The screen flickered. Lines appeared. Then static. Then a faint blurry image. A corridor. A waiter passing by. Another waiter. Then Godfrey's two men. Then Anita swallowed hard. Sir. Look. On the screen, one of the men was holding a small bottle. The same bottle. The moment he put something into Simon's drink was clearly visible. Simon gasped. It's there. The manager whispered, Yes, but the recording is not complete. The camera cuts in and out. Sometimes it blinks. It is old. Simon didn't care. It was enough. It was proof. Anita grabbed Simon's arm. Sir, this is it. We can use this in court. But the manager raised his hand. There is a problem. Simon froze. What problem? The manager turned the screen aside and whispered, Mavlon Tech is already on their way back. Simon's heart dropped. Back? Why? The manager whispered, They discovered there might be another camera. They are coming to destroy this one. Anita's eyes widened. Destroy? The manager nodded. Yes, and they are coming right now. Simon stepped back. They can't see us here. Not with this evidence. The manager whispered urgently, If they see you in this room, you will be arrested on the spot. They'll take the footage and finish everything. Anita's heart pounded. So what do we do? The manager whispered, You have 2 minutes. You must choose. Simon stared at the screen, at the proof he had been searching for, at the truth that could save everything. Then he turned to Anita, and she whispered, Sir, what do we do now? At that exact moment, footsteps echoed in the corridor, heavy, fast, getting closer. The door handle rattled. Open this door. A voice shouted. It was one of Godfrey's men. They had found them. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel to follow up with the story.